My friend went to the doctor and he said that the doctor told him that he should eat more Taco Bell. Oh, I know. I said, really? And he goes, well, actually, he said I should eat less McDonald's, but I knew what he meant. And then he said, the doctor said, asked me if I wanted to exercise, and I enthusiastically said yes. And then I realized he said, I thought he said, do you want extra fries? My friend had a T-shirt on. It was in Las Vegas, and he had a T-shirt on that said, exercise question mark? I thought you said extra fries. And lastly, the doctor told this guy, he said, if you want to burn 1,000 calories really fast, just try to put the fitted sheet on your bed. I have a housekeeper because that's the one thing I don't want to do. I just don't like to do that. So those are healthy tips. And this morning, as I said, we're having a theme this month on healing life. And so I have some healthy ideas for us. You remember I've shared the story of when I had the illness of pneumonia that almost took my life. The short version, my left lung was full, my right lung was almost full. They came in, they said, if we can't get a squeak of air into your lungs, we'll have to intubate you, and most people don't wake up from intubation, and we don't know that you'll survive. And I'd been in the hospital a long time. The treatment is they fill you with antibiotics for 72 hours. If that one doesn't work, they change to another one, and then another one, and then another one every 72 hours. And I'd been there now for almost 30 days. And so I was just in a place where I thought, well, I got into this surrendered state of that I might die. And I was only in my 30s. And I just thought, I don't think people die of pneumonia in the 30s. And it was, in the old days, maybe they did, in the 1800s or something, but not now. And so, but I let myself just sit with the reality being vulnerable to an outcome that I couldn't control. Surrendering to the circumstances, not surrendering to death, but surrendering to what was the highest and best for my life, whatever that was, surrendering into God. Well, God, if you want me on the other side, I'll come over. But if I kind of thought I was going to be here a little longer, Anyway, so rather than feeling powerless, what I felt was I just put my head back on my hospital bed, and I was in this very relaxed, non-resistant state of mind, which turns out, and we're going to talk about more today, was the perfect state of mind to be in to achieve healing. That non-resistant, relaxed, fearless, abandoned, surrendered place. I realized as I sat in the hospital that all of my needs were met. I said, I kind of like this. Somebody cooks all my meals, brings them right to me, cleans my room, helps me get a bath. It was just really, I had all my needs were met. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to grocery shop. I didn't have to run errands. I didn't have a job I had to be worried about. So really, I was living in this state of total well-being and being cared for. And so in that idea, I thought, well, all I had to do all day long was focus on life, health and life. And I remember taking the affirmation, I am life. I am divine life. Working with Charles Fillmore's 12 powers, I thought, well, I needed all of them. I needed faith, I needed courage, I needed wisdom, but mostly I worked with I am life. And I repeated that, I am life, I am life, I am life, out loud, softer, in a whisper, I am life, silently. And eventually, I was no longer saying it, I became it. And I knew in that moment I was healed. Nothing in the outer changed. There was no confirmation, no verification. My fever was still out of control. I still was sick, but no external confirmation was necessary. There was no question in my mind or my heart that I was healed, even though no physical evidence had changed. I didn't have a single doubt, a single worry, or a nagging fear that, what if this was really real? What if I was just making this up in my mind and imagining it? What if it was hallucination from all the drugs? It wasn't any of that. I knew, and I knew that I knew I was healed in that moment. And I had a very deep inner knowing, a sense of calm that came up within me. And each time then that feeling came back to me, I just said yes to life. And there wasn't anything left for me to do. I just put my head back on my pillow and waited for my physical body, this external matter, to catch up with the life and health that my spirit had revealed and confirmed. So it was a process of about 3 more days before my physical body, before the fever broke. The next day I wasn't any worse and I wasn't any better, so they didn't intubate me. And the next day I was a little bit better, and the third day my fever broke and I was on the road to recovery. So you know, and you know that you know, and then sometimes the physical circumstances take a week or 10 days or whatever to work out, right? Sometimes a year, sometimes 6 months. But you know when you touch that place inside of you. So my questions to us this morning are, what makes all the tumblers click into place when you know your prayer is answered? What's the feeling that you have inside of you that results in answered prayer, and how do we attain it? How do we get into that feeling nature that all things are in absolute agreement with the divine, that you are aligned and there's no blockage, there's no anything, I am the Father and I are one. The feeling is hard to describe with words because it's unique to each person and unique to each person's spirit, and words don't really describe what it feels like. It's a feeling of empowerment when that clicks in. It's a feeling of deep trust. Mostly it's an absolute conviction and an inner knowing of truth, that whatever you're praying about or praying for has occurred inside of you, has taken place, is taking place. You see, there just aren't words to describe it. It has a euphoric feeling of peace and well-being, and it does let you know that you are on track and connected with the divine. There is a confirmation or a conviction and a knowing that you've touched that place inside of you. If you get yourself into this feeling state often enough, whatever you want will happen for your life. Imagine that. Jesus said, believe that you have it and it will be done for you. And so it's not about so much even claiming and affirming and knowing and this and that. It's just moving into that feeling place where you know and you know that you know. And I like to say the tumblers click into place. And it's a feeling that's available to everyone, but we have to know how to access it. And there are various methods for accessing it. And so one way that I want to work with today that Mr. Fillmore taught was getting into the feeling through the power of joy. Mr. Fillmore was big on joy and praise. In his book that we're working with, Jesus Christ Heals, he says, a joyful, carefree heart is one of the most valuable assets in demonstrating health and wholeness. A joyful, carefree heart. See, in that hospital bed, I was carefree. I didn't have to earn a living. I didn't have to cook my meals. I didn't have to grocery shop. I was able to just check out and just be in the moment. There was nothing else. There was nothing I could do. I was a little bit bored, but I was sick. And so that was taking a lot of energy, but I was carefree. And so we want to move into this carefree, get ourselves into a place of relaxation. All healing systems, he says, recognize joy as a beneficial factor in the restoration of health. And it was Norman Cousins, right, that said you could laugh yourself into health and wholeness. Exalted joy is the consciousness that relates us to God and awakens us to the impulses of divine mind. It's a clarifier. There's just nothing that gets in the way. When you laugh, when you're in the sense of, and it's more than laughter, but when you're in that sense of joy, there's just no confusion or congestion anywhere in you. He says, joy stimulates naturally the currents of life in the body. And often, when joy enters the mind, the grip of an adverse condition is released, right? Haven't you had that relief and that release from feeling a sense of joy. You worry about something and then somebody cracks a joke or makes fun of not of you, but makes fun of the situation, and you laugh at yourself. You can laugh at yourself, and that releases that grip and that tension. Mr. Fillmore, it says, realized that when he got up to do what he called his meetings, there were never church services, his meetings, that he was facing an audience. He said he looked out at them, and sometimes their faces were strained and stress-filled and all of that. And he said he realized he faced an audience where people came to him because they were sick, and they were broke, and they were seeking healing, and they were seeking life, and they were seeking help and ways to make their lives better. And he strongly believed in the Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22, a cheerful heart is good medicine. He believed that. He believed in the power of joy. When we go back to Unity Village, you'll see evidence of Mr. Fillmore's affirmations around, and lots of them relate to a joy-filled spirit. He said he helped people be receptive to truth by lightening their hearts, because he always told little humorous stories, and he believed in singing. Singing. Joy songs. Joy songs, joy songs, joy songs. He even laid down a metaphysical law that everybody should know how to sing. How about that? It says it right in the book, Jesus Christ Heals. It says, everyone can sing. It does not make any difference what you think about singing or your ability to sing. It doesn't make any difference whether you can sing or not. Cultivate a singing soul. Cultivate a singing soul. First, sing way down inside yourself, and you will someday break forth in song. Why sing? He says singing restores harmony to tense nerves. It lets you offload that stress, making it possible for the ever-waiting healing spirit to enter in and make you harmonious and whole. Isn't that beautiful? The ever-waiting healing spirit. You want to get into that place. I put my head back on that pillow in that hospital bed, and just the ever-waiting healing spirit, presence of spirit. I was waiting to infill me or come up from out of me. It's omnidirectional, so it doesn't matter if you think it comes into you or rises up out of you or comes from the left or comes from the right. Any way you want to think about it, it's there. That healing presence is there for you. Every word, Mr. Fillmore says, we speak goes out from our mouths charged with energies that vibrate at different rates. We know that. Through the vibrations of the voice, joined with high thinking. So that's speaking in high thought. Through the vibrations of the voice, joined with high thinking, every cell is set into action and goes out to break up all the crystallized conditions. So there's vibration in our word. And singing, to sing, they say to sing, to sing is to pray twice, because you're using your words and then you're using them in song with a higher vibration. Then I love this, what he says next. He says, our words are loaded with constructive or destructive electrons that can build up or blow up ourselves, our aims, and our ideals. So you can build up or blow up your life by the joy and the sense and the song and the words and the vibration that you're releasing. He said, we should practice delightful, happy, joyous states of mind, because such thoughts open the way for divine mind to pour itself into our mind and through us into our bodies and our affairs. And that's what Dr. Leaf's book says, with mind as distinguished from brain. You're open and receptive to mind, and your mind directs your brain, and then your brain releases all of this energetic in your body that even lengthens your DNA, changes the shape of your DNA, heals your body in miraculous ways. Your body's set up to know how to do all of that, but it's your mind that directs your brain, and your brain directs your body. And it's the thoughts that you're thinking and the words that you're singing and speaking that's activating all of it. And you can retrain your brain. Your mind retrains your brain. So, we should practice delightful, happy, joyous states of mind, because such thoughts open the way for divine mind to pour itself into our mind and through us then into our bodies and into our lives, into the affairs of our lives. Mr. Fillmore said, be at peace, and your unity with God will bring you health and happiness. Be at peace. Be at peace. I am life. I am divine life. I am divine life. Just a mantra of simple ease. As a P.S., he also said, the world needs a new hymnal. He said, with only words of truth and music so strong and powerful that it will penetrate to the very center of the soul. And so we sing out of the Wings of Song hymnal, with all those joy songs. So, the advantage of moving into a joy-filled, peace-filled state is that it puts your mind and your body in a very powerful physiological state that's completely opposite of the state of illness. You can't hold joy and darkness in the same thought. And so we want to work with this idea. And what I have for you today is a process, some steps that support creating joy and well-being so that you get what Richard Dotz calls in his work that magic feeling that helps the tumblers click into place for when you're praying for something for your life or healing for your body. Now, we're longtime Unity students, so a lot of us know these steps, but I want to just remind us of them, of how we can create this wonderful, energetic feeling of joy that can heal the body and heal the affairs of our lives. So, of course, we know you start by getting to a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. This is a prayer treatment that you're doing. And you want to remove all your external disturbances, switch off the phone, and lock the doors, because even that idea that someone could come in on you can disturb you and keep you in an unsettled state that doesn't allow you to just relax. In the hospital, they come in your room every 20 minutes for something. It's just, so you have to be able to just put a curtain down in front of yourself and be in your own cocoon where you're not disturbed. This process is not visualization, and it's not meditation. You're not trying to see something at all, and you don't have to force yourself to relax. Just let everything simply be, like it's a beautiful fall day, and you're sitting out on your patio, and you're just there. You're just in the moment, You can notice your breathing, but make no attempts to control it, right? Just let everything be. Just let everything be. You don't have to take a position or a posture. You're just there. Close your eyes. Turn your awareness inward. If worry thoughts float through your mind, just let them float on by gently. Don't engage them. And after this process of about 5 or 10 minutes, hopefully you'll begin to sense a presence of peace. And however small that piece of peace is, that presence of peace is, you want to focus on that. There's still other thoughts are passing through, but you want to take hold of that thought of peace and let it grow stronger and stronger. Let it begin to fill your awareness, like I did with the I am life, I am life, I am life, until I became it. I was so filled with it, I became it. You want to sit long enough with the feeling until you do touch the Christ of your being. You'll touch the larger part of you. You'll touch the higher self. This isn't a big task and a difficult process and a hard work, and I've never done it that way, or I can't do that, or it's too big for me. Just sit with that peace and let it fill you up with joy, and you will touch that eventually. I touched life in that experience of pneumonia. You'll touch the Christ. The Christ will fill you in a way that's perfect for you, with whatever's going on in your life. And you'll get a sense of feeling of worthiness and allness and joy and love. The magical feeling is multidimensional because you'll feel joy and happiness and elation and love and peace and appreciation all at the same time. That's why it's hard to put into words what this feeling is. This is what we're working toward. The feeling is a byproduct of your alignment with God, of your oneness with God. It's a confirmation and a signal that you're in a high state of vibration with your authentic self, with the Christ of your being. And that's that confirmation and that conviction that the Father and I are one. I am one with the one. The feeling is different from just feeling warm and fuzzy or just feeling goosebumps, because it has a tremendous sense of fulfillment, of contentment, of eternal satisfaction that your life is right, always has been, always will be. It's that conviction and assurance that you feel. You know, and you know that you know. And you don't have to know intellectually, you don't have to know emotionally. It's just pure knowing, pure knowing. It's important to know that when you touch this feeling, it feels good not because you want to attract something, create something, or you're trying to manifest something. It's because it feels good because you are in a place in consciousness where everything is already perfect, where it always has been perfect, where it is eternally perfect. You are touching the kingdom, the realm of God. And you reach that inner state where there's no sense of anything missing. It's a feeling that there's nothing more I need to do. There's nothing more I can do. It was that absolute relaxation when I laid my head back on my pillow and I knew I had been healed. There wasn't any outside external physical evidence that showed that, but I knew I had touched life at a level of total healing. And it's that feeling that everything is already here and it's all complete and it certainly is all good. And when there's no absence of health or life or peace or faith or strength or abundance or any of that, when you feel that fulfillment of the divine, then wholeness is achieved and your healing takes place. So we want to not chase the feeling, but we want to make room for the feeling, open more fully to the feeling within us. It's an important distinction to make, that if you try to conjure up the feeling to make something happen, you're pushing it away. Because that efforting and that strain isn't that relaxed, allowing place, you see. It's not about trying to conjure something up, conjure up feelings of already having your healing, and it's not acting as if. It's not acting as if you're already healed, acting as if your health is here. Because for some of us, we can't believe that. We can't get that visualization or that connection, and so it creates stress and strain and worry. And then we're in resistance and opposition to, well, I can't believe that all my bills are paid. I can't believe this cancer is gone. I'm supposed to act as if it's gone. I'm supposed to act as if it's healthy. And that, again, you can see you're in resistance. So it's not about trying to make anything happen. It's that let go and let God be God in you. For healing to occur, the body needs to be in a very heightened state of peace and joy. So the magic feeling is the doorway. It's the portal to anything, really. Your only job is to get into the feeling and then let God take care of the rest. Let the universe take care of the rest. If you allow that download of spirit or that infilling of spirit or that outflowing of spirit, as I said, whatever direction you want it to be, often enough, and for the sole purpose of feeling good and nothing else, and not worrying about when or where or how your circumstances will work out. If you get into that feeling often enough, then everything you want will come into your life. Everything. Everything. And this is when we're living at the impulse of spirit. We're not planning our day, we're not making our way, we're not making something happen. A divine idea can drop in and we say yes to it. Oh God, you have that for me? Okay. And then we just relax into being in that feeling of elation often enough. Given half a chance, God will come through with a healing that's perfect and complete for you. So, I was listening on the radio this week to a new song by Amy Grant. We were quasi-friends in Nashville, and I was closer with her husband, Vince Gill, but the words to the song are, I want the healer more than the healing. And that is the attitude here, that I want connection to the divine, because in that is all the fullness of everything I could ever want for my eternal ongoing. There's really no wanting there. There's just beingness. And it's that beingness that is everything. Everything. Perfect health, perfect life, perfect abundance, perfect harmony, allness, allness. So let's seal this experience with a prayer. I want to invite you this morning, if there's something in your life that's kinked up, where your nerves are kinked up, or there's a block, or showing up seemingly as an illness, just take a moment and turn your awareness within. And remember that your body has the capacity for restoration and renewal. It's already in you. And so you let the mind of Christ be in you, directing all the systems, operations, and functions of your body. You give your body the relaxed, peaceful feeling it needs to work in harmony with this Christ mind. Let your thoughts be on the thoughts of life, perfection, ease, and joy. And let those be the one true reality of you. In the name and through the power and the authority and under the dominion of the Christ Spirit, you are beloved of God, and all things now conform to the perfection of the Christ Spirit within you. Healing is taking place in you right now. And in the truth of your spirit, you are absolutely perfect, whole, and well. As a spiritual being, I am always whole and well, alive and healthy. You can say that inside yourself. As a spiritual being, I am always whole and well, alive and healthy. And so it is. Together we all say, Amen.